So how did your great-great-great-grandpa escape from the castle, Castillo de Omoa, I think, in Honduras, in Puerto Cortes? The castle was at the edge of the water, of the ocean, right? So the guard said, if they ever do jump, they'll drown, right? Probably he did know how to swim, but he would still drown.
Why?
The way he got out of it is he got a nurse to help him. How did she help him? She took a canoe in the middle of the ocean there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he jumped. He got onto the canoe with her. But who was that nurse? You know? Was she a brave woman?
Yes.
She could row a canoe by herself. But I don't know if she didn't row the canoe, how did she put the canoe down there? How did the canoe stay in place? How did it not flip over? You got to have somebody controlling that canoe.
Yeah.
All right, so nobody knows about Stonehenge, how the rocks got there. Some people, I've heard a story that a giant just carried them. Who?
What?
Almost knocked down my bookshelf.
Trying to knock it down.
As time passed, the teachings of the perfected spirits were changed. Whoa, look at that!
What?
I just missed her. It was
MJ?
one of them. She jumped all the way up, grabbed onto the books, and fell down.
That's why you didn't do parkour.
Because the books, she can't hold on to books. As time passed, the teachings of the perfected spirits were changed for what one might call political reasons by the all too human organizations. All right. So here we go with the Indians in Tibet. Until the communist invasion. Who was the Mao Zedong?
Mao Zedong?
Yes.
I don't know.
He was the guy that wouldn't brush his teeth because they didn't invent toothbrushes yet. And he was the one that was the leader of China with the communists. What are the communists?
No idea.
Remember that joke about if you have 2 cows, right? If you sell in capitalism, you sell 1 cow and buy a bull, and then you'll have a whole bunch, right? That's capitalism. In socialism, you hang on to the cows in France, but the milk has to go to the government. But you got to feed the cows, but you got to get the milk to the government. In communism, no, you're not supposed to. You're supposed to take care of it. They belong to the government.
Oh.
You just take care of it. In communism, Russia, China, what you do is, if I remember the joke correctly, you give the cows to the government, and then you got to buy milk from them. They're your cows, but you got to give it to them. The squirrels are exercising. They're like personal trainers for Mimi. Look at her jumping.
Kitty is hiding.
She's so happy. So, what did Mao Zedong do?
What?
He was something like the king of China. But one of the things, he was given a swimming pool. Well, what? I told you about him. He would not go into the pool because...
What?
Well, look at the chlorine with the swimming pool. Does it look like...
I don't
He thought he was going to be poisoned, so he wouldn't go in.
I'm attacking you.
Did you ever see
Ow.
in Kung Fu with David Carradine. Did you ever see the one where the boy is told that he should walk across a beam, and the beam is
and
on
the
top of
poison
acid?
acid. And then there's a fake skeleton on the ground.
Yeah, there's clothing that looks like a skeleton sunk.
And then he fell in. Ah!
And he got wet.
Yeah.
And he survived because it was just water. That tells you about what did he learn from that?
Don't be so suspicious. I don't know. Don't be so sure that something's about to happen. Don't be so superstitious. I don't know.
That means speak truth.
Meow.
Speak truth. Because if you listen to a lie, what will happen to you?
You will believe the lie.
Don't believe the lie. Who is the father of all lies, according to the Bible?
The devil?
Correct. Alright. In Tibetan Buddhism, many of the secrets and practices of which predate Buddhism by thousands of years continued in Tibet until the communist invasion by Mao Zedong. Now, when Mao Zedong attacked Tibet,
Yeah.
the Tibet is a hill, right?
Uh-huh.
And the tallest mountains are over there. What are they called?
Mountains.
The Himalayas.
Oh.
And
Is it like the 300?
there is no water, I think. In fact, I just saw recently that there's a Tibetan Miss Beautiful Tibetan woman, young woman, pageant, right? And they said, and they're in swimsuits, and they said, wait a minute, how can they be in swimsuits if they don't
I have water.
have water for swimming?
You fell. She's like the ultimate escape.
And they're wearing high heel shoes
Uh-huh.
and two-piece swimsuits
Mm-hmm.
on top of rocks
What are you about to do?
for the photos.
Photos.
Yeah, so they look like they're at the beach. So Mao Zedong, I saw the movie The Buddha. Well, no, not the Buddha. The Dalai Lama. Who is he?
Who? An
He-
Indian?
The Dalai Lama is still alive, son. He is the 25th, 125th, something reincarnation of the Buddha. He is the leader of the Buddhist religion of Tibet. So he's alive right now. He wears glasses, but he says that he considers himself a teacher. But there were some weird things about him. When the previous Buddha died, he had toys as a child, right? So these monks went to look for the new child. But it was not an infant. They found out that it was a 4-year-old. Right? Now, how can one spirit die and give it to another person while the other person is still alive? For instance, wouldn't the new Buddha be born a baby? Instead of being reincarnated as a 4-year-old? I mean, born a baby and then 4 years later they find out that he's the Buddha. But the Buddha didn't die until the new Buddha was 4 years old. So, but, okay, so they found him, right? The test they gave him was, they told him to play with the toys that he played with in his previous life. So the boy said, this one and this one, these are mine. Now, you could trick somebody. You could put fancy toys, right? And make the boy pick the something, right? like in the United States, these A, B, C, D tests, they say, what is the answer? A, B, C, D, right?
Or F, G, J, and
Correct. And so they say, well, it can't be A, it can't be B, it can't be C, and it can't be all of the above. So, or it somehow you figure out which is the answer, right?
Now, there. When you were saying about the awesome toys and then with the
Yes.
other toys that he played previously,
Mm-hmm.
well, there was this show, Teen Titans. I watched an episode, and what happened was Beast Boy was like had in his room garbage everywhere. The beginning started with a bit of a joke.
Mm-hmm.
The smell came from his room, and then the rest of the Titans, they're like, Teen Titans, go fight the smell, and then they died.
Because it was terrible.
Yeah, and then their souls were going out, but then Robin said no. He Robin's ghost came down, punched every single Titan for their souls to come back. Then he went in his own body, and then they figured out it was Beast Boy's room. So the thing is, he had to get rid of the stuff. There were lessons. One of the lessons for a Raven and Beast Boy, Raven, she just spawned. She has magic. She spawned a diamond, a handkerchief that spotted, and a very dirty tire. She said you can only pick one of these. Which one? Which would you pick?
I would pick the diamond, right?
Yeah. Guess what he picked?
The diamond.
No, he picked the handkerchief.
Spotted. And what? As a poison, or what? What do you mean? As a
Like he was
as
supposed.
a reward?
No. The thing is, they're trying to make him get rid of his garbage because he has garbage everywhere.
Okay.
So.
Don't re-inhale the mucus. Please blow it out.
Okay. So then, she was hoping that he would choose the diamond instead of the trash. But then he said, all of this is good stuff. The tire is good.
The tire is still good, yeah.
And the thing is, it had nails all over it. And
So you could remove the nails and plug them.
He said the handkerchief is still good, even though it's spotted. He made it into a little bow tie. And then he said, this diamond is nah. And he threw it in the trash.
So that's the way he chose